Nami is banned, and honestly, this is probably my last video of One Piece on this channel. I wanted to use this video to express my frustrations with Bandai's card design, or lack thereof, honestly, and just with how I probably will be taking this as a sign to never play a Bandai game ever again. If you continue to find enjoyment in the One Piece TCG and in Bandai games, I'm happy for you. At the end of the day, these are very expensive hobbies. They are luxury hobbies. And if you can find a way to enjoy them in these crazy times all over the world, then I applaud you. That is a very positive thing. I myself cease to continue to find any positivity in Bandai-based products. And honestly, especially since I haven't been playing in the last couple of months, I've only been vindicated in my kind of thoughts and feelings about some predictions I've been having. And I've been really enjoying Magic the Gathering, which I truly, to the heart of hearts, believe subjectively that is a wildly better game in every way, shape, and form when it comes to accessibility, even prices, than One Piece TCG, especially when it comes to the acceptability of proxies in Commander. It's just bar none a better and more accessible game. So again, it's going to be a little ranty. I'm going to do my best to provide some objective truth, but also there's going to be a lot of subjectivity in here. So if you wanted the TLDR, it's really just, again, I will not be playing the One Piece TCG anymore. I'm frustrated by the choice to ban an errata Nami, but also make parallel changes or lack thereof in similar ways that could have just also addressed the Nami situation. There's so many other ways that we could have fixed this problem, and we just didn't need to do this. There's never a reason to do this. So it is what it is. We got the BNR update. And you know, development of the One Piece TCG, blah blah blah. So all of these effects, this announcement is as of the kind of 20th of August. They will take effect in 10 days. So as of August 30th, these effects will be in place, and we actually got the first pair ban, which is the first slap in the face. We got the first pair ban in the One Piece TCG. So decks containing card A are not permitted to include any of the cards listed in the card B section. So if you're playing OP11 Monkey D. Luffy, right, which has been the oppressive deck in the metagame for a while now, you are not allowed to play OP8 Katakuri, which has been thought to be one of the most broken cards in the deck for a very long time, outside of, you know, GGG, but that also didn't get touched, which is kind of interesting, alongside like Hody Jones and stuff. But we also got 9-cost Charlotte, which didn't get hit, which is, I mean, kind of makes sense. Once you start like playing Sanjis and setting up like crazy plays, you don't want cards along. So first slap in the face, we got pair bans, but the ban itself was probably good for the vast majority of One Piece players. The second slap in the face, before I get into the Nami ban, actually, and it's not even the second one. The second one is now that we're actually unbanning. After reassessing the current game environment, we're removing the following cards from the ban list. So Sakazuki, OG Sakazuki, is being unbanned. Right. So notably, this was banned way back. I think it was 05 or 06. It's been a while at this point. And this has been unbanned, and it was errata. There was a new Sakazuki made. And so I guess both Sakazukis will continue to exist together. And we also got a third slap in the face, the Kabaji. So we have the precedent for when we ban one card, right? We can unban some of the cards that were banned for it because that card was around, which is fair. That's why you unban Kabaji here. Sakazuki is setting a better precedent, which I want to address later on, for a card that has been banned in errata and can be unbanned later. So, okay, so potentially we might be able to get the Nami unbanned later. But also, we introduced the precedent of pair bans, which is very interesting when it comes to the actual power level of Nami. Because now, OP03 Nami altogether in the Eternal format, the Legacy format, as well as the Rotation format, which, you know, we don't even know if Nami's going to be legal there, if Nami's going to be reprinted in the promo version there. This is, as far as we know right now, only going to be available in the Eternal format, right? Which they're going to focus less on anyway. So why is it banned? This will be banned in both, right? Reprinted or not, this will be banned in both. So my problem with this initially is, as a Nami player, I'm, you know, a lot of people are going to think I have bias, and my bias isn't towards Mill per se. My bias is towards the, you know, alternate win conditions that exist in the game. One of the key facets to me, a successful TCG is an alternate win condition. If everyone is trying to achieve the same variation of the same goal, you will inherently just move the game through different levels of power creep. You will not be able to use older cards because there will be newer and better ways to achieve the same goal. You will always supersede the previous goal. The goal right now is to get your opponent's life total to 0 and then hit them. That's it. That's the big whack-a-mole game that you're playing right now. Nami introduced an angle that provided something new to the player base, and I've made videos about how I thought this was a cool thing to expand on. Maybe not make mill as an alternate win condition, but could we make combo or a certain collection style win condition exist, where if you had a certain group collection of events or stages and characters happen at the same time, then you win the game. Like, those are interesting things to me because they give a really cool deck building restriction and they allow for different designs, really niche pieces that could provide cool effects to different cards and ways to play. And so now that we don't have the actual only alternate win condition in the game, Roger does not count. Roger's the most win more card that exists as like a 1 to 2 of in the majority of decks it's played in. Does not count at all. Now that the only alternate win condition is gone in the game, I think the reason for it to be gone just goes to show the lack of ability for Bandai to actually make good card design. I think it goes to show that this game doesn't have real depth in it, and the depth is really artificial. The depth is in strategy, which is valid, but it does not exist in its card design, which is the majority of where depth should come from. The depth should be extracted from the card design. The strategy comes from the tools that you are given. And if the tools themselves lack depth, then it only goes as deep as we are allowed to have. And so with that being taken out, knowing that the pool is shallow, I have no interest in this game. This game does not have a stack system. You are not allowed to interact with your opponent at any time. There are moments where it feels like solitaire, which I mean is rich coming from a Nami player. But largely, we could have made better decisions in terms of trying to ban cards out of this deck and made better card design that worked with the Nami deck instead of talking about restricting blue design. Like, we could never print card draw in blue, but you could always just say, you can't play this with East blue leaders, or you can only play this if your leader is multicolor, like stuff like that. You can do that. If your leader is navy type, do this, right? We don't need universal cards. That's the problem that we have right now. People talk about cards like Hody Jones and putting these universal cards that have these wild effects that the whole color has access to. And we had this with Moria as well. Moria was not leader restricted, which is why it's now gone. It is a universal effect that was the best thing to do in black. So most black decks were doing the Moria thing. And so if we have universal effects, we already see examples of how cards like that can lead to bad design and bad player sentiment. So why is that going to be the restriction that a lot of people are talking with when it comes to Nami? Like, Nami restricts card design in blue. Good, it should restrict card design in blue. If anything, Nami improved design in blue. It actually got them to think. But unfortunately, it's just a bunch of stupid designers that don't know what they're doing whatsoever. It's either that or leadership wants to push these designers that actually have intellectual capability towards a money-making model that does not look to challenge casuals. Because at the end of the day, we've seen this in many other TCGs. Mill decks and combo decks hurt casuals. They frustrate casuals because we, as the designers, you know, I'm thinking myself as a designer, the designers themselves don't give casuals the tools to answer these decks. They don't give them good, viable, reasonable options to have counterplay, because the game itself isn't built to have counterplay like that. Again, the pool is shallow. The design isn't there because the cards aren't designed that way. So if we have pair bans, why couldn't we pair ban Nami cards? Why couldn't we pair ban Kaya with Nami? Why couldn't we pair ban Impel Down All-Stars? Pair ban Pilaf, right? The insane powerful. If we pair ban Pilaf and Nami, the deck would crumble. The deck would actually fall apart, but still be viable. Still be viable. You lose a draw two proactively and reactively, but you still have the rest of the core. You can replace it with another mill effect, a draw effect, but it is significantly worse in many ways, but still viable as a low tier deck. And that's the key. What Bandai does not do with their bans is continue to allow their leaders to be viable. It's a bait and switch. It's a constant piece of frustration that many players have. Think about the amount of players that sold out of Sakazuki, that paid so much money for their alt arts. There's some people out there that were using their, all Sakazuki alt arts as Dawn. And now they're probably sitting on a treasure trove, to be fair. Like, those people are probably so happy that OG Sakazuki is back. There's going to be a lot of hype around this card. And so if we're unbanning things in the future, Nami could come back. But Nami currently does not exist in the new rotation format as of now, unless it gets printed in the future. But then even if it were to be unbanned, it would have to be unbanned in such a way where it has to exist in that rotational format for anyone to care about it. Because the lack of support as of right now, based on the information we have for the Eternal format, is everywhere, right? They're going to make the rotation format the premier format for worlds and high level events. So no one cares about the format that Nami exists in anyway. So why don't you let people enjoy that format? Why are we erasing a mistake that we don't want to have to deal with in the future anyway? So again, a lot of frustrations with this Nami initially. And I mean, look, we have this promo Nami that came out, doesn't even have East Blue type, by the way. I didn't even bring up, I'm not even bringing up the other Nami that exists, but really what's going on here is the fact that you have cards that were really designed for Nami. They're probably made for it, right? That a lot of people were excited for. And people are just ignoring the fact that there's a whole piece of the card pool that no longer we have access to. And one thing I'm doing right now while we're doing this, I realize I don't have this up. I was just kind of yapping about it. But really, if I can just get like an English translation of this, where is this new Nami? If I could just get an English translation of this. But okay, really what it is all the restriction is in the new Nami. All that's happening, I don't even think it's down here. But with the new Nami, all that happens now is that you have a new further restriction that says you can only play East Blue cards in this Nami deck, which is interesting because you've added a new text, right? So the text on the Dawn is the same. You still attack, deal damage, and you trash 1 life. Or if your deck is reduced to 0, you win the game instead of losing according to the rules, right? So those pieces of text stay the same. You add a new restriction, which says you can only play East Blue cards. Interesting. So we are able to keep everything else the same, but we added a restriction that completely nukes out half of the cards in any Nami list whatsoever. So Nami is technically still playable, but it loses all of its good tools. Every single tool that Nami had to beat control, beat aggro, beat mid-range, everything is gone. Nami has lost all tools because the game's design is not variable enough. There is not, again, the pool is shallow because we have restricted design in some aspects to not be universal, to be typed. And now when we have these restrictive designs, the pools aren't vast enough to be able to support these. The different sub-archetypes in Navy, East Blue, whatever, right? These different sub-archetypes don't have the ability to support the anti-tools that other colors have access to, because we have created universal options in those colors that are fine there, and eventually they will continue to get banned out as well because power creep continues throughout the game. We will continue to support new and new leaders, and hopefully maybe one day they go back and add more East Blue support, but for now, none of that exists in the current format. So that is the new Nami. But when it comes to answering Nami, why don't we just, again, continue to ban other cards that exist in Nami? We could have banned Impel Down All-Stars, a card that quite literally is a mistake to be a Nami. It has no value on the front side outside of niche situations where you need to reduce your hand size to meet the condition of a Love Love Mellow or a Deathwink, or just to, be a trigger on a draw 2, right? So a draw 2 trigger, I should say. This card could have been easily banned and the deck loses a draw 2. Again, you could have banned Pilaf. You could have pair banned Pilaf, where Pilaf is available for the other blue decks, but pair ban it for Nami. You could have added a new condition that I saw someone say this. I can't remember if it was in the Nami Discord or if it was in Twitter. Oh, I'm hoping someone finds it down below and can at least credit that person. I wish I could credit them, but someone else did find this. And why couldn't we make it so the condition was the deck that you play in Nami has to start with like 60 cards, right? Instead of 50. What, like maybe we just added 10 more cards and that would have made it hard enough. And then we continue to add the draw tools that Nami has. The draw tools, like the crazy options that we're seeing down the line in OP13. Why don't we continue to have those options? But now we add more cards. You have to play more cards now, right? Why don't we force the Nami player to have more dead options or more bulk to go through and have that be a condition instead of like just completely banning it and having a worse option? Because if you take a look at a deck list right now, right, this is the sim. This is Adam Cisnero, a very famous Nami player, has had a lot of top events. This is a more not a recent list, but the last list I had from him in, I think it was January, December when I last played this damn game. So half of this deck is gone. So the first top row is all here. East blue, East blue, East blue, East blue, East blue. Okay, so we even have Kaya still and East blue Nami. Great. The problem is we don't have Spada, which is a rearrange tool that also is a draw 2. We lose Impel Down, as I said, which is a draw 2. Rubber Band we have, Gum Gum Gavel we have, which is great. Those are great tools. But we lose small niche pieces like the Impel Down package. We don't get White Snake anymore, which is the only anti-aggro tool the Nami deck had access to in terms of counters. We lose the whole Kuja Pirates package in terms of Gloriosa and Marguerite alongside Snake Dance. And we lose one of the key cards, one of the best cards in the deck, Love Love Beam, one of my personal favorite cards, Death Wink out of the Impel Down package. We still have Sanji's Peel Off, and again, the last anti-aggro tool that I can genuinely think of is going to be Gravity Blade. We lose access to all of this. The only cards that we now have access to, if I can just put myself to the right screen here. Yeah, there you go. Just shift myself up. We have random, like we have Usopp Pirates, which return in Usopp, I guess. We have Kaya still. You have a bunch of cards that say if your deck has 20 or less cards, this character gains like plus 2k power. Like there's a bunch of these. It's like a blocker that does that and everything. Useless cards, by the way, useless cards. When you deal damage to an opponent's life, you may trash the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, place this character in the trash. Like maybe Gaimon becomes somewhat viable. Like really, the cards that you're looking to now are going to be 3-cost Zeph, Rush Usopp, Bellmare, and Zeph. These are all monumentally useless cards because the efficiency of removal in this game has skyrocketed, which is a good thing in some ways, which is a valuable thing. But that also means blue has no anti-removal tools in East blue. There are options inside, like outside of blue, right? There's like that one the 4-cost one. 4-cost 5k. There's a Sabo. I think it's a Sabo that has like some anti-removal tech. So there are options that exist, but not in East blue. So this card right here, sorry, this card does absolutely nothing. Reveal the top card of your deck. If reveal card is 4 costs or greater, return up to one of your characters to your hand and then place the reveal card on the bottom of your deck. You don't even get to draw the revealed card. And then like the trigger is like just a return effect. Logue Town might be viable as like a meme, but you have to remember that without like the density of being able to go through your deck through Deathwinks, recurring characters through Snake Dance, White Snake, and Love Love Beam drawing through your deck as well, like you're not going to be able to draw through the bulk that you put at the bottom. If you Logue Town away a bunch of cards to the bottom of your deck and you draw 2, that's fine, but once you get to the late game, you're going to have no options whatsoever. Like 3000 World was added as like a niche, it was available to Nami players as like a niche piece. Like there was sometimes metas where players were playing this as like 1 to 2 copies. It was like a cool option. Peel Off is still here, but again, the vast majority of these decks unviable. You cannot have Nami build into other archetypes. You can't have 2-cost Nami anymore. You can't play any of the, like half of these cards. Cross Guild Nami, completely dead, right? Impel Down Nami, completely dead. You can't even play Buggy and or Mr. One anymore. You can't play these options anymore. It's absolutely insane to me. They like completely annihilated a whole archetype without actually introducing a viable solution. Again, you pair ban something. Why don't you pair ban Nami cards? You unban a leader, which means maybe down the line we get a Nami unban. But that's down the line. Look at how long it took for Sakazuki to get unbanned. Look at how far the metagame has gone. Right? Do people even care about Sakazuki anymore? I mean, I guess his price is going to spike, as I mentioned. But what's the actual point of any of this. Nami is not available in the new rotational format that's going to be in Worlds, in regionals. It's just going to be in the legacy format that very few people are going to care about. So why ban it in the first place? Are you going to make the new promo Nami viable or legal in the new rotational format? We have no information on that as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm missing that. If I am, please let me know in the comment section down below. Nami is still a leader. It's quote unquote playable, but it has lost the vast majority of its tools. And with the things that the Bandai organization of card games has already done to other cards in this game, right? Other leaders and how they've banned and handled them. What they've done to Nami today is the laziest thing I've ever done. Bandai is probably one of the worst card game designers I've ever seen. It is worse by Magic on all fronts. And if you think that Magic's design is worse than this, I genuinely don't think you know what you're talking about. I actually think you're dumb, right? Because it goes to show that you don't play enough Magic. When it comes to the comparison of the standard format in Magic, the modern format, heck, even the legacy format and the commander format, with the variety of cards in the game and the ways you have to play and the different card pools in each format, like mill is viable in every single format because alternate win conditions are viable in almost every single format. There's some formats where, like standard, I don't think there's a real alternate win condition because in the current rotation of standard, there is none outside of mill. But in Pioneer, in Modern, in Legacy, in Commander, in like all these formats have alternate win conditions, have mill. They all are viable in their own way. Some are tier 1, some are tier 2, some are viable in different ways. But all of these exist in Magic because the design of the game is deep. The card pool and the rules you have access to are very intensive in terms of the capabilities, like the resources and the tools you have options to. All of them are very deep. So why is it that One Piece can't do the same? A casual focused game that doesn't have the depth to go the long way. Why are we doing this? So personally, I'm off of any Bandai game whatsoever. I was thinking about getting into the Gundam TCG, but if this is going to be the design and the sentiment around alternate win conditions, like I'm a combo player myself, I'm a alternate win condition lover, I'm a mill lover as well. If this is going to be the thing that's going on in Bandai games, I have no wish to play them whatsoever. The second channel that you're seeing this on will probably cease to post any of this. I mean, like these other TCGs just like really don't know what's going on. Like maybe I should start playing Pokemon. Honestly, like someone let me in the comment section down below. Maybe I got to start playing Pokemon because I've been having so much fun with Magic the Gathering that I just don't see the need to be posting a game this dumb on the second channel. Feel free to unsubscribe if you want to, but I will not be playing the One Piece TCG anymore, even if Nami gets unbanned. I don't want the whiplash. I don't want the back and forth. I don't want to deal with the headache. This is just bad design. Bandai doesn't know what they're doing whatsoever. And it's kind of sad. And you know what? People are going to quote this, right? People are going to quote this and they're going to see me raging. They'll be so happy. Nami's dead. Nami players. I've been hating Nami players forever. That's fine. Go ahead. You know what? At the beginning of this video, I said, you have found happiness in some way through this game. And I'm happy for you because of that. That is a genuinely positive thing. The amount of craziness in this world, I'm so happy that you have found positiveness, whether it be hating Nami and playing other decks, or whether it's just now that Nami's gone, you are now forced to explore other strategies and you can find happiness there. I am happy for you. I am glad you have done that. Please continue to do that. Continue to play this game if it makes you happy. I personally will not be doing so. And that is the point of this video. The point of this video is to highlight my feelings on this. Some of this was objective, majority of this was subjective. And that's how I acknowledge this here. I'm not going to be superficial in that. I have my feelings about how people feel about me, how people feel about Nami, but that's not objective truth. Again, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. I will no longer be playing the OPTCG. I will no longer be posting it on the channel. Again, feel free to unsubscribe. This is my last hurrah. If you wanted to engage with me, I'm currently still playing Magic on my primary channel with more than enough engagement to make me happy and more than enough ways to play the game to make me happy. Feel free to find me on Discord. The Nami Discord will continue to stay up. If there's someone else that wants to take the helm on it, feel free. Just shoot me a DM and let me know. I don't know. I just want to leave it off in good hands. It's just not something I care about anymore. It's something I look to curate, and I think I've done a relatively okay job with. The community has grown in their own ways, but it's just not something I care about. I'll be disengaging from any Bandai product. Goodbye.